Hi everyone, it's Andrew. I'm back in what will be the first of the scale modelling biased videos. And I'm hiding behind this gigantic box because our new friends at Rubicon Models, they have sent me a bunch of models to review. Well, I mean, how can I review them? I've got no track history of reviewing plastic models. I don't know, anyway, I'm not going to knock it, and I'm going to tell you what I think of them. I'm going to show you them. It'll be a nice, interesting adventure because I don't really do armour. I haven't done armour since I was about 15, so I'm not perhaps the world's premier armour modeller. I think we can safely say that. So it'll be an adventure for me. I believe that they are, the idea with these models is that they are certainly of a size compatible to wargaming. So we'll see that in a second. They are also designed, I should say, with wargamers in mind. So they are not incredibly complicated to make armour kits or anything like that. They are reasonably straightforward, I understand, reasonably straightforward to build. I haven't really had a good look at them yet, and that's going to be a good thing, because the smaller the model, the more fiddly it can become if you over-engineer it, overbuild it. So let's have a little look, shall we, and see what's going on. So it's a very nice box. It is packed full of loveliness. Look at these. Now there is a link below, and I'll put this up on the screen. There is a link below to Rubicon's website, and you'll be able to see these, and they've got pages and pages and pages of all manner of different armour kits. What I asked for is to concentrate on Vietnam. A Vietnam based theme. So what I quite fancy doing, and what I thought might be of interest to do on the channel, is to, because you know I like my long drawn out projects. That's all of them, right? So I don't seem to give myself a lot of choice in that. Is to do a diorama with these, because they're not, as I say, the scale is quite small. So a diorama with them on, a scene, if you will, won't be huge, and thus quite doable, I hope. And that will be a proper journey of adventure. So even if you're not terribly interested in making plastic planes or plastic tanks, watching me fumble and bumble about trying to make a diorama might be of some entertainment, if not interest. So, you know, double win, right? What have I got in here? Well, first of all, I'm going to kick it off with this one. It's a slightly different box to all the rest. And this is a Centurion Mark III or Mark V tank. And I've got to say, from the outset, all of these boxes are really nice. They are really nice. They're all glossy all the way around. This one's top opening, by which I mean the lid comes off in the normal sort of fashion. And let me just point this out right now. The scale it says on here is a 1/56th. It says in the bottom corner there, 1/56th battle tank. Now, 1/56th is a funny old scale. It's somewhere between 1/48th and 1/72nd. Those are the two common aircraft scales. Most armour you'll see, most Tamiya kits and things, is 1/35th scale, much bigger. So these are quite small, like I say. Now the reason they're 1/56th is that this ties into the average wargaming size figure and, you know, accessories. So very much these are meant to blend into the sort of wargaming stock and wargaming world that already exists. The benefit for us modelers is that they are, like I say, bigger than the 72nd. So if you go and buy a 1/72nd Airfix armour kit or something, they are tiny, teeny tiny little things. And you've got your work cut out to try and make that reasonably realistic. If you go bigger, I mean 1/48th doesn't seem to be an armour scale at all. So you're really looking at 72nd. Or you're going up to 1/35th, at which point you're looking at a tank that's kind of, you know, year long. And to build a diorama, then suddenly the thing's becoming huge. So these are going to sit right in the middle, and I think that's a good thing. I really do. So they're all obviously different sizes because of the different vehicles involved. But this Centurion tank specifically is here for Terry to build. So I won't. I'll leave it for him. I'm going to hand this to him over the weekend, and I'll leave it for him to unbox this and give it a sort of run out on the video. But I will say, you know, straight off the out of the box, literally, they are a really nice presentation. It's quite a strong box. There's no kind of bending or kind of bits falling off it. So yeah, full marks just on the sort of on the shelf appeal, I guess. The Centurion, of course, British tank. Terry's very patriotic. He likes his Spitfires, and you know, so I figured that would be a good thing for him. He's never done an armour kit ever in his life, so I figured that would be a nice start for him. And it's quite a big tank, quite a big model in the end. So, you know, instead of a tiny little thing to start with. Now, well, I say, what have I got? I mean, you know, we're going to share. I'm not kidding. It's not. It's just I've got a bit more time. And a bit more familiarity, so there's a fair chance I may rattle through these a little quicker than Terry would. So what have I got here? Well, I'm going to start with the main attraction. Really, for me, this was the main thing. As soon as I saw this on the website, I was straight in there. So a Bell Huey, well, synonymous. This is a helicopter. Kids paint a helicopter, they're going to paint this one. You know, everyone thinks of a helicopter, it tends to be this one. Unless you're from a kid of the 80s, in which case you think of Airwolf, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this is the Huey. This is a Vietnam chopper. It's got a very distinctive noise. If you've seen Full Metal Jacket, Platoon, Apocalypse Now, you know, the March of the Valkyries as the helicopters come over the sea. These are them. Okay, so a very classic era. Hence, Vietnam was the theme I've gone for, and kicking it off with a very cliched almost now helicopter. So the rest of these, all these blue ones, I don't know whether this is a sort of age thing, whether these are of one sort of era, and this top opening silver box is a different era. I don't know yet. I will find out. But these are all side opening boxes, which I have to say, not everyone's cup of tea. Some of the big aircraft model manufacturers get slated for having side opening boxes. Top opening ones obviously nice and easy to get things in and out of, and see what you're getting, whereas with this I've got no idea what I'm going to pull out now, you know, because it all looks the same in there. It is very nicely packed though, as you can see, and they're all the same. I'm not going to show you all of them because it's very tedious, but I just want to give you a general sort of, you know, heads up. I mean, that's how it comes shipped, you know, it's not rattling around. You know, triumph of packing. Alright, so it all slips out of there. Manual, clear parts for the windows, and then we have, yeah, we've got 5 sprues, five heaps of parts. Some of them are crew figures. I think that's all crew figures. And then we've got the variety of bits and bobs that make up the helicopter. Now, I'll bring the camera in a bit closer, so I'll take some of these out of their sleeves and we can have a little look and see just what you're getting. To the plastic itself, I'm not going to go through each of the sprues just because I'm going to pick out some points that stand out to me as highlights, as things I'm going to look for. So for those of you aircraft modelling, I would suggest that this is very close to 48 scale. It really isn't. There's some of the figures. I don't know how close I can focus, but you can see the figure there with no head, obviously, but he's you know, there's my thumb. He's not bad for 48, he's not too far from 48 scale. Well, it's 56, isn't it? It's not too far, numerically speaking. So some highlights I'm going to show you here that might interest you. Well, look at the surface of the helicopter's moulding here. There, can we make out that the detail? You've got the door rails, but look at all the rivets. Look at all the rivet detail that's floating around on there. So that's really nice. If I show you a bit of the interior, you can see some of the standard of the mouldings that they've done. You know, you've got things like the seats are built on, the consoles built onto the floor of the cockpit, which is, you know, these are concessions, I guess. They could have tried to mould the seats separately and done all that stuff, but what's the point? They're trying to keep it relatively simple. You know, you just get the thing built and enjoy it. But look at the floor. Can you see the floor texture there? Can you hear it? It's lovely. It's all cross-hatched as it would be for grip. You've got the roof, the cabin roof has got lovely texture to it too. It's all very nice. Yeah, there's no point going through all the sprues particularly, but I know where the camera is there. So you see the instrument panel there. I think you've got dials on the instrument sheet. Yes, you do, on the decal sheet. So we've got a set of dials on the sheet here, so that will be stuck onto the instrument panel, and very convincing, I'm sure it's going to look. The clear parts, well, I don't want to open those because these tend to get scratched. If you leave clear parts loose, rattling around with all the other parts, they will scratch. Okay, and you'll struggle to get the scratches out without a lot of work and polishing compounds and all that kind of caper. Best avoided. Best leave it in the bag until you absolutely need it. I would personally, for that point, I would rather see the glazings put in a resealable bag, because you don't build all the glazings at once. So you take this out of the bag, you take a couple of windows out, you build a door, or you build a windscreen. You put the windscreen in and all that kind of, and you want to put this back in a bag. So it would be nice maybe to get this in a resealable bag. But the fact that it's bagged separately is the main plus. That's the main thing. You can always take it out, wrap it in tissue and put it on a shelf or something until you need the rest of it. What else have I got in my little box of goodies? Well, I got an M4 Sherman tank, which there's a Sherman version, or there's a Firefly version, which has got a much bigger gun on it, and for that reason has got to be the one to go for. I've also got a truck. Check this out. This is maybe familiar to some of you RC fans out there. The Cross RC HC6. Yeah, this is pretty much an HC6 to all intents and purposes, so I figured that would be a nice little crossover to the RC world to make one of these. Now, as to how big this is, I wish I had Steve's HC6 to compare it to. Let's have a little gander at this. Well, there's the chassis. There's the chassis. So we're talking about, so the chassis is 14 centimeters long, and that's not too bad, is it? Kind of something that can tell me what width it is. That looks like the top of the roof, maybe, and the top of the roof's looking like about 4 centimeters wide. So 14 centimeters by 4 centimeters wide. There's the little bonnet and the carb area. Yeah, how cute. So yeah, 14 centimeters isn't too shabby. The great thing is obviously it doesn't take a lot of space. But all of these that I've looked at so far do seem to tread the line, as I was told, between ease of building and detail. There's no point having something really easy to build and it doesn't look, well, it just looks like an easy built kit. It doesn't look like the real thing. When you're doing scale modelling, even as a wargamer, you've seen the effort the wargamers go to with their painting and figure painting and so on. They're after realism as well. So it has to look realistic. That really has to be the main thing. Now, this is an M113, the ubiquitous armoured personnel carrier of the Vietnam and onwards era. I think this is the most produced. 80,000 of these have been produced over the years. So it may very well be the most made, the most manufactured, the greatest manufacturing, whatever. There's 80,000 of the things, all right? More than any other, by all accounts. More than any other armoured vehicle. Okay, this time glossy instructions. Remember, the Huey wasn't glossy. This is glossy, okay? And it's more of a fold-out styly than a proper sort of page-turning book thing. This has 2 primary versions, I believe. If I have a little look at the box, 3, but 2 body configurations. You either have the one with the guns, or the one with all the guns, and the one without all the guns, and just a single turret. So, your choice. But again, lots of really nice. The tracks are built in 2 stages by the looks of things. Yeah, it looks like 2-stage tracks, top and bottom sections, join them up, glue them in the middle. But lots of parts, all individually bagged. And as best I can see, quite a sublime amount of detail. It's hard to show you it within the bags, and it's hard to show you it without a close-up lens, but you'll get to see the detail as I build these. So really, again, I really like the Huey, really nice printed sheet of decals. Use no glue on the turrets so they turn round, so you can position them. It's showing you some examples of versions that you can make by buying extra parts, which of course, you know, it's good for business, right? Yeah, I mean, nice, condensed, simple, but detailed. I mean, 29 steps, well, 28 steps, I suppose. Yeah. Very impressive, I have to say, very impressive. Right, and last but not least, I have a big box of figures. And this will be the real funny thing, because I'm not a great figure painter at all. I'm not very familiar with it, and it's there's 30 of the little monkeys in here, so it's going to be quite the challenge. Now, I think if I show you this, again, all jam-packed, you know, absolutely nothing, except the box lid, rattles about. I could go and get you some plastic planes upstairs, some plastic kits of aircraft, and shake the box and stuff will be all over the place. I can't stress enough, especially in this day of mail ordering, how important it is to pack things this well. I really can't. Stuff gets broken, snaps off the sprues, clear parts, as I said with the helicopter, they get damaged. It is a really nice thing to be able to pick a box up and know it's packed out properly. Ravel, are you listening? Right, so the figures, as belies their wargaming intentions, they all have little bases, look. Or I suppose you could have a little game of, you know, drafts or something with them. And then we have, I'm going to guess, because I've seen figures before, yeah, you effectively have multiplication, you basically have multiples of a couple of basic sprues. So there's an awful lot of guns, an awful lot of legs, and other assembled body parts and backpacks and things. What I will say is I'm not seeing any guns without arms moulded onto them. So maybe you can make out, I don't know, maybe you will or won't, but all the guns have got their hand wrapped around them. Because at this scale, or to be honest, even at most scales, getting hands to realistically hold things is very, very difficult. The moulding, obviously, because the way our hands hold things, we wrap around, in which case you can't put a gun in a wrapped around moulded hand, and you can't mould the fingers separately because it's too small. So I can see why they've pre-moulded the arm with the gun, because then it looks realistic, it looks like they're holding it. But the downside to that, if there is a downside, is it would mean that you can't reposition the arms and reuse the figures to do certain things that aren't intended in the box. Because the arms have got bloody great gun in them, right? So that's going to be a thing. And also then you don't get to be able to just put the guns on the tank, you know, like they might be stored or something, because they've got a bloody great arm hanging off them. Although maybe in Vietnam that was more common than it is now. Put some blood and gore on the end of it, perhaps. But I'm quibbling. So again, we've got lots of instructions. Look, you've got all the figures that you can make and how to glue them all together to achieve the pose that you would like. I think, if I remember rightly, did I see in here, they've even got different versions of things. So you can choose which actual version of a weapon you might want, which arm go, yeah, several different arms go on the same torso, this kind of different packs, so you can have different, you know, vests and things. There's a lot of thought and effort has gone into this. So watching me make and paint figures is going to be hysterical, and the end product could be the stuff of nightmares. But, you know something? Oh, let's not forget me drafts pieces. I've got to say, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, you know, cards on the table, as I said, this is all being sent to us for free. And both me and Terry are super excited about this. I hate saying that, sorry, me and Terry are very excited about this. We've never had free things before. And it's ironic somehow that it takes, how many years? 5 years of some fairly significant RC effort and investment and got nothing. And then I just mentioned in passing that this is what I'm going to start making some models and things and showing them on the channel. And a modelling company reaches out and says, here's a bunch of free stuff. It's quite kind of, it's made us chuckle. And I'm really proud to be trusted to do this. So yeah, hopefully the end results will be worth it. Now, whether I show you me making each and every one of them, I don't know. Maybe not. But I'm certainly will do the helicopter as a big kind of build thing. And I will probably kind of merge the others together a little bit, maybe. Show you the end product, obviously. And as I say, try and keep this somewhat useful for RC. Maybe I'll focus a bit more on the painting and the weathering and putting decals on and things like that you might come across with a cross truck or a hard-bodied build in the RC world, where you've got to do the thing yourself in that regard. So yeah, so there you go. So thank you very much, Rubicon Models. I will do you proud, I promise. And you know, I will try and be honest as we go. But yeah, thank you very much. Stay tuned. And yeah, it's nice to be back on the camera again. I do like looking at myself. All right. Cheers for now. I might get a haircut, you never know. Be interesting to see how many of these I get through before I have to have a haircut. Anyway, let's leave it there, shall we, before we get too surreal. Cheers for now. More later. Bye now.